Movie trailers are used to tease audiences with a glimpse of action or adventure. Taglines have become an art form of their own. Good taglines use humor, terror, or mystery to convince moviegoers to buy a ticket with just a single sentence. But sometimes a studio comes up with a tagline so confusing, so boring, or so downright pathetic that it may have been better off without it. Here are Screen Rant's 10 worst movie taglines. A good day to die hard. The Die Hard series is best known for its unapologetic action and John McClane's attitude, and the taglines of the films all tended to reflect it. But with A Good Day to Die Hard, things took a different turn. The film's Russian setting may have been worth mentioning, but we find it hard to believe that McClane would approve of his catchphrase being twisted into some eye-rolling wordplay. In the end, Yippee-ki-yay Mother Russia was all fans needed to steer clear entirely. Basic Instinct 2. The original Basic Instinct made Sharon Stone a superstar, pushing the envelope in more ways than one. The sequel's marketing made it perfectly clear that Stone's sex appeal was the key selling point, but its tagline, "Everything interesting begins in the mind," is just plain meaningless. Anyone who saw the original movie could come up with a more clever reference to the first film. Looks like the little time spent on the tagline matched the effort put into the sequel perfectly. Alex Cross. There's a time and place for almost any pun, but in the case of Alex Cross, a dark adaptation of James Patterson's novel, wordplay seemed to be more than a little out of place. Don't Ever Cross Alex Cross wasn't just clunky. It framed the movie's psychologist/detective as some kind of action hero. Something like Don't Cross Cross would have been a simpler version. But in the end, even that promised an attitude and story that the movie couldn't deliver. Clash of the Titans. The original Clash of the Titans wowed audiences with its stop-motion battles and mystical beasts. Its tagline promised an epic entertainment spectacular in the film's marketing. So how did the remake excite audiences with a brand new tagline? By confirming that in the film, Titans will clash. Thank you, Warner Brothers, for clearing that up. For a second there, we were worried that the Titans might not clash after all. Thankfully, this painfully uninspired tagline was only used in the first trailer before being scrapped. Avatar. James Cameron's Avatar forever changed blockbuster filmmaking. It shattered box office records and kicked off a new age of 3D filmmaking. Its tagline was a little less impressive. For a film that opened into movie history, Enter the World is sadly a tagline that could be attached to nearly every genre movie ever made. Lethal Weapon 2. The Lethal Weapon series came to define the buddy cop genre as a whole, and began with taglines every bit as thrilling as the action. Warning audiences to pity the bad guys, among other one-liners, the sequel dropped the ball big time. The Magic is Back may seem a suitable tagline for a fantasy adventure, but not an action film. Still Too Old for This would have made at least some sense, but even if Lethal Weapon 3's The Magic is Back again marked a new low, it's the sequel we have to blame for it. Star Trek V: The Final Frontier. Star Trek fans may accuse J.J. Abrams of swapping smarts for action, but he wasn't the first to try and draw audiences in with the promise of big screen spectacle. That began with Star Trek V: The Final Frontier, a movie promising action so wild, movie theaters would need to install seatbelts. The marketing apparently worked, bringing the movie a bigger opening weekend than the prior installments, but it's still a poor fit for the actual film. The tagline, like the Enterprise crew, really did go too far.
I am hardly in a position to disagree.
Earthquake. These days, the term event film is thrown around quite often. Some would say too much. But back in the 70s, the term was brand new, and disaster films took over the American box office. Earthquake was just one example, using the tagline "an event" to promote the movie. I guess the audience's demand for any and all disasters meant that even the most boring tagline imaginable was deemed good enough. Citizen Kane. Director and star Orson Welles left a permanent mark on cinema with Citizen Kane. To this day, it's hailed by many as one of the greatest movies ever made. The studio clearly wasn't aware that the film would become a Hollywood treasure, since it was also given one of the most uninspired taglines in movie history. Telling moviegoers that it's simply terrific is a far cry from advertising Welles' unforgettable performance, and it sells short the truly revolutionary picture Citizen Kane turned out to be. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. The first Indiana Jones tagline promised that the era of great adventures had returned, and Raiders of the Lost Ark didn't disappoint. But when The Last Crusade called Indy back into action, the studio decided to ignore the film's plot, action, or even its fitting send-off for the franchise hero. Aside from the fact that the Man with the Hat is a terrible nickname, it was never applied to Jones in the first place, and the claim that he brings his dad makes the film sound more like a cheesy gimmick than a great action film. So what do you think of our list? Did we miss any criminally bad taglines? Let us know in our comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one.